Welcome to Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network. Tonight, the Fort Wayne Spacemen will play host to the Metro Jets development program in a key United States Premier Hockey League East Division game. Along with Brandon Porter, I'm Kent Horman. Glad you could join us tonight again from the Parkview Sport One Ice House. It has been a rough road to hoe for the Spacemen as of late. They are coming home with a 7-game losing streak, hoping to get one back into the win column tonight when they take on this Metro Jets development program. There are a couple of backstories in this. A couple of Fort Wayne Comets will be squaring off against each other. A couple of former Fort Wayne Comets. Of course, Kaylee Schrock is the head coach of the Spacemen. The associate head coach of the Metro Jets development program is former Comet Jamie Lovell, and he'll be running the team tonight as head coach Justin Quenville is not here. So Jamie Lovell, Kaylee Schrock, who both won championships with the Fort Wayne Comets. And Brandon, if any team is in dire need of a victory right now, it's the Spacemen, especially now back in the friendly confines here of the Ice House.
Yeah, that's one thing that really is going to determine how this team is going to look over the next little while. Obviously, they had a big road trip here. Not a very successful road trip, but it should build character for this team. Going through that kind of animosity phase or adversity phase, not animosity, I'm sorry, where they're on a losing streak, so now they come home, they get the friendly crowd with them, get this turned around before heading back out onto the road, unfortunately, until about early to mid-January, where then they'll be in front of the home crowd pretty much to round out the entire rest of the season.
The Spacemen come into this game with a record of 8 wins, 15 losses, 2 overtime losses. They have 18 points. And again, the team that they are facing tonight, it's been a little bit of tough sledding for the Metro Jets. They are 9-10 with 2 overtime losses. They have 20 points. But if you take a look at the last 10 games, the Spacemen have won 3, lost 5, and lost 2 in overtime, while the Metro Jets development program has played some pretty good hockey lately with 6 wins, 2 losses, and 2 overtime defeats. Chicago is running away with the Midwest East with a record of 17-6 for 35 points. Then comes Metro with 20, and the Spacemen presently sit in 4th place with 18 points. Another good note, though, Jared Fisher of the Spacemen continues to lead the league in scoring. In 24 games, he has netted 30 goals, 26 assists for 56 points. So he is leading the entire league in scoring. Some other storylines that have been going on with the Spacemen. Yimin Kim was released by the Spacemen, but his rights have been picked up by the Midwest Blackbirds. The Spacemen also acquired the rights to Carson Salkeld. He's a 6-foot, 185-pound defenseman. He's a Fort Wayne native. In 9 games for the Spacemen, he has registered 2 assists. He'll be wearing number 2. And the Spacemen also acquired Cole Rodriguez from the New York Aviators. Cole is a 5-foot, 10-inch, 200-pounder from St. Louis. He'll make his debut with the Spacemen tonight. He will wear number 18. Now, some bad news for the Spacemen. I believe this happened during that lengthy road trip. 2 key players will not be in the lineup tonight. Defenseman Jack Huffman and also right wing Lucas Robbins. Those are 2 important players. They both have been placed on injured reserve, and I'm not sure there is any timetable right now, Brandon, for their return.
Yeah, that's kind of like blowing a tire a little bit on your car with Robbins and Huffman going up. Both very speedy wingers. Both very fast. Huffman being a defenseman, but he can really move up and down the ice in a rush if needed. So both of them are a really fast player that's going to be out. Not sure for how long, but again, that's going to really kind of hurt the teams, especially with the chemistry that the Robbins brothers has and the Huffman brothers have. But without that extra piece there, it's kind of not there anymore.
Well, if it seems like it's been a long time since the Spacemen have been home here in Fort Wayne, it has. Their last home game was October 25th, so here we are December 7th, and there has been an awful lot of road work in between those dates. We've talked about this in the past. After tonight's game, they'll go on another 7-game road swing as they'll spend the rest of December on the road. But boy, the last part of the schedule, you're going to be hearing and seeing a lot of us in January and February because they wrap up the remainder of their schedule with 11 consecutive home games starting Friday, January 17th, wrapping up Sunday, February 23rd. So the Spacemen will be looking to make some hay here on home ice. So far, The Spacemen, well, they've been able to hit the net, 103 goals scored, but they have given up 125. And one of the things that'll be a key will be discipline. They have 496 penalty minutes as a team. And MGDP, they come in 61 goals scored, so they're not really an offensive machine. They've only given up 73, and they have a total of 394 penalty minutes. So we've talked about this in the past, Brandon. Discipline, not taking the silly penalties, will be a key for Fort Wayne.
Yeah, because we've seen that in one of our previous broadcasts where they were doing really good. It was a really tight game, but then they started letting their emotions run a little wild. They couldn't run their forecheck like they normally thought they can. They couldn't play defensively as good as they can normally do, so they started getting frustrated. And when that happened, they let their emotions run wild, and eventually they started taking penalties. And then I believe it was Metro Jets, they actually made him pay, if I can get this out, pay on the power play with multiple power play goals against.
Well, the ice is complete. They'll have to position the nets, and then the team should be arriving here momentarily along with the officials. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups for tonight's United States Premier Hockey League showdown here in Fort Wayne between the Fort Wayne Spacemen and the Metro Jets Development Program. You are watching the Fort Wayne Spacemen on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.
Thank you for supporting Summit City Sports. For the last several years, we've provided the Fort Wayne community and beyond with coverage of a variety of sports, thanks to our title sponsorship from Parkview Sports Medicine. Since we began in 2015, our annual budget has covered the cost of videographers and commentators to over 300 plus games each year. New equipment and maintenance of that equipment, along with increased broadcast rights fees from the IHSAA. This season, we're reaching out to friends, families, and local businesses for additional sponsorships and donations. You can help us grow and get coverage to your favorite team or sport. A Summit City Sports sponsorship or donation will help make that happen. We have the goal of bringing fans live stream games of every SAC game we cover. With the additional funds, we'd invest in mobile internet devices, allowing us to bring our supporters every SAC conference football and boys and girls basketball games live, as well as more coverage for sports like cross country, tennis, golf, swimming, wrestling, track and field, baseball, and softball. For more information on sponsorships or how to donate, visit SummitCitySports.com.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit parkviewsportsmedicine.com to learn more about what we can do.
Well, there you can see the teams are arriving on the ice. The Spacemen in their home white with black and orange trim are taking to the ice. We're awaiting the arrival of the Metro Jets Development Program. They will be decked out in a dark blue with red and white trim. Good-looking logo. It looks like the Winnipeg Jets logo. So let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's contest. First for Metro. Starting in goal will be number 31, Christopher Eberly. On defense, 33, Cole Phillips, and number 25, Nick Beeman. And up front, it'll be Nick McDougall, number 5 on left wing, Braden Taylor, number 7 on right wing, and Mitch Fortin also up front, number 16 for the Metro Jets Development Program. Again, the head coach is Justin Quenville. He is not here tonight. The associate head coach, Jamie Lovell, the former Comet, will run the team, and the associate coach is Randy Wilson. We'll take a pause for the national anthem and then have the Spacemen starters. Okay, we have wrapped up the national anthem, and we are just about set to play hockey. And let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Spacemen, brought to you by Three Rivers Federal Credit Union. Also like to mention that the ticket sponsor is Cap and Cork. We thank the great sponsors for the Spacemen. Starting in goal for Fort Wayne will be the big guy, 6'5", 201-pounder Michael Hayward. On defense, number 10, Austin Buck. The other defenseman is number 7, Justin Daner. And up front, on right wing, number 12, Corbin Schiebel. The center will be number 16, Zachary Steele. And on the other side will be Logan Robbins. So again, the Spacemen, coached by Kaylee Schrock, and his assistant, Josh Moles. So we are just about set to play hockey. Our referee is Mitch Perry. The linesmen are Ian Helt and Tyler Fix. So the teams will come to center, and we'll see after that lengthy road trip if the Spacemen can come back and put one in the win column. And again, we talked about how Metro has been hot as of late. 6 wins, 2 losses, 2 overtime losses. So we are set to play hockey here at the Ice House. They drop the puck, and we are underway. And the puck goes back to Daner. Daner will slide it across. The long pass is intercepted at center, but it's poked into the Metro zone. The chase is on. It's like Schiebel applying the pressure. Big hit. Digging it out is Taylor. He's ridden off by Schiebel, and some immediate pressure being applied by the Spacemen. Robbins steps into his man, but they are able to briefly clear. And now McDougal stepping up into the play, but that's kicked ahead. And it's back into the Fort Wayne zone where it's going to be chased down behind the net. Austin Buck controls. Takes his time. A long pass goes to Schiebel, but that's broken up and fired right back into the Fort Wayne zone. Buck will spin, come along the wall. Tries to chip it out. He's bumped off the play. Into the Metro zone. It will not be icing. Jared Fisher, the league's leading scorer, applying the pressure. Ringing around the boards. Huffman has it bank off of a Metro player. Now they come up and they'll reset. Firing it in, and Fort Wayne will chase it into the corner. Jared Fisher behind the net. Controlled by Metro. And hustling out for the breakout, and here come the Jets. Broken up at center ice. Fort Wayne flips it in. Racing behind the net is Jake Aslanian. Well, that's going to go almost the length of the rink, and there will be no icing. Just quickly firing the bad angle shot that time was Patrick Hayes. We've played about a minute and a half. No score here at the Ice House. Right out in front, a shot that misses everything as the puck was centered beautifully. But missing the play that time was Patrick Hayes as he fired it over the top of the net. Now they battle behind the net. Comes out to Huffman. Spaceman will just fire it in and go for a change, but that caroms off a Metro player. And they try to turn defense into instant offense. Mitchell Hoon. That goes on goal, and it's just guided away into the corner by Hayward. And it's chipped out. Fort Wayne trying to make something happen. Good body check into the boards that time, but on the tough angle, skating in front, trying to weave through the defense that time was Lapointe. He tumbled into the net. And now Fort Wayne regroups as Jimmy Johnson has it poked away from him. They dig behind the net. Johnson with 2 Jets comes away with the puck, and he'll look for the breakout. That time, Yvonne Berard just chipped it off the wall. Now Taylor turns and fires, kept in by Berard. And Berard is battling. He stepped into that time by John Taylor. Now it comes out to the point. Banked in that time by Brandon McNeil. So Fort Wayne trying to keep some more pressure on. Early action here. There's a shot. Oh, good blocker save that time. As McNeil with a quick wrister. Now they battle into the corner. Lapointe digs it out. Looking to center, but it'll be Perry. Perry takes a look. Spins away from his hit. He still has the puck. Taylor steps into him again. Now Smith will bring it out for the Jets. End-to-end action here early on as we have played just about 3.5 minutes without a stoppage. Here come the Spacemen again. Cross ice, and that's just chipped in that time by McNeil as Fort Wayne goes for a change. Dylan Tegmeyer, he's a Fort Wayne product, and he is stepped into by Perry with authority. That time Cameron Perry, the smaller guy, put the body into the big guy, Dylan Tegmeyer. Now along the boards, and it looks like it maybe went off of a player that was on the bench, so they'll have a face-off just outside of the Metro Jets zone. 16:04 to go here in the opening period. Brandon Porter, Kent Horman here on the Spacemen Broadcast Network. Seems like I'm relearning the team all over again. It's dumped into the zone. Corbin Schiebel gives chase, and Fort Wayne, Robbins is bumped off by Phillips. But Schiebel, who is just all sorts of a little dynamite package, he really adds a lot of spark to this lineup. And that time Steele tried to come from behind and pick the pocket that time of Mitch Fortin, but it's dumped into the corner, swept behind the net that time by Hayward. Long cross-ice pass, and here come the Spacemen. It's kind of feathered into the zone. And behind the net, the battle is on. Schiebel is behind there looking to dig it out. Comes back to the point. Schiebel with a one-timer. That's just a little bit off, and he didn't get a lot of stick on it. Now right on the stick of Steele. He tries to bank it back to the point, and that hops over the stick that time of Grant Siebenaller. Gets into the feet that time of Beeman. He's bumped with authority that time by Behrens. And Behrens has, they're going to call a penalty? Let's take a look. Wow. Well, apparently not. Somehow it must have just dribbled out for an offside, because I thought that was a good, clean body check. It was close proximity to the boards, which they're worried about player safety. Wound up just being an offside. So we've played 5 minutes. No score. Big hit that time. Well, good end-to-end play so far. And here come the Spacemen breaking out. Comes ahead off Fisher's skate. Huffman will chase down behind the net. Now racing along the boards is Walters. That pass is too strong. Johnson has it for Fort Wayne. That's thrown right up the middle, but that'll be on goal, so Eberle has to just stick it aside, where it's picked up by Walters. He rings it around the boards. Bumped into that time was Mitchell Hoon. And now turning is the captain and the league's leading scorer, Fisher, as he tries to put it ahead for Huffman, but he'll have to retreat and regroup in his own zone. Manages to get by one check, but he's got a whole slew of Jets that were in there to clog up the blue line. That'll just be shot behind the net by Eslanian. Fort Wayne now is scuffling a bit to clear its zone. Now shifting behind the net, that's Brennan Zatelli. And he gets thumped from behind that time by big Austin Buck. Now, Fort Wayne having a tough time getting out of its zone right now. Now they manage to clear, and here's Huffman on the break. That deflects into the corner, and Fort Wayne forwards will go for a change. Taylor has a lot of open ice to skate with, but that's intercepted. Good body check there, right in front, big shot. Oh, it just missed that time as Garrett Benoit was in tight, and he flipped it wide of the net. A great scoring opportunity, though, for Metro. A little too strong off the boards. Now they joust for the puck. Justin Daner. And he gets it ahead that time. Berard with a quick shot, and that's gloved by Eberle. 12:57 to go here in the first period. We are scoreless from the Parkview Sport One Ice House. The Fort Wayne Spacemen back home after a lengthy road trip against the Metro Gents Development Program.
Good back and forth action so far. Benoit with an amazing chance just in the low slot. Unfortunately, it missed it high and wide.
And on the draw, Fort Wayne LaPointe thought he had it, and then at the last moment, McDougal pilfered it back. Fort Wayne can't keep it in, so it's collected right at neutral ice, and it looks like we are going to have our first penalty of the game. It'll be interference, and that will come at 7:13.
The new guy, Rodriguez.
So Rodriguez goes off for interference. And the time is 7 minutes, 13 seconds. So first penalty of the game, and that'll be the first power play opportunity, and that will go to Metro. Face off in the Fort Wayne zone to the left of big Michael Hayward. And Fort Wayne controls and manages to clear it the length of the rink. Good play there, starting with winning the faceoff. Now Metro looking for the breakout. Comes to center. Oh, two players collide. And Mitch Fortin basically did a cartwheel over the player that stepped into him by accident. Now they try to dump it in deep. Metro looking to set up the power play. At the half wall, comes back to the point. Cole Phillips puts it now to the right half wall. Dancing with the puck, they try to center it in front. That time a deflection by Nick McDougall goes a little bit wide. Big body check that time along the boards as Spacemen look to clear, and they do. Three of the players will go off for fresh troops. Well, two, as all of a sudden one of them thought, nope, I better hang back and stay. And that was Justin Daner who stayed around. Now he has the puck. Slides it along the wall. Huffman tries to play. And it does just slither over the blue line. 44 seconds left in the power play. McDougall comes across that time to Parker Walters. Now here comes Walters taking the return pass. He steps over center ice and just flips it into the corner. The race is on. Satelli trying to get to the puck. Big hit that time by Daner. And it looks like we're going to have another penalty.
Elbow.
And this will come at the 8:48 mark.
5-on-3 for Metro.
And let's see who goes to the box for Fort Wayne. It looks like it'll be Austin Buck. So Buck with the elbow. Coming at 8:48. And there is 26 seconds of 5-on-3 power play time for Metro. They control the puck. Right down the slot, quick shot, big save that time by Hayward. They have to control the rebound as that time Eslanian with a low shot from just about the top of the circle. Good job by the Spacemen to clear the length of the rink. Eberle hustles out to play it. And he leaves it for Eslanian. So one of the Spacemen will return to the ice. So now it's a 5-on-4. Comes back to Hayes. Hayes in the corner. Now Eslanian. Ridden off the play. They're just trying to chew up some of that time by keeping the puck pinned along the boards. Low shot, that's deflected away. Hustling into the corner is Zatelli. Another shot from the point. Looks like that was deflected away. Now Eslanian. Just about with the interception is Fisher, and a good job of poking it out that time by LaPointe, so they'll go for fresh horses. Turning and hustling it up, it's Garrick Smith. He leaves back at the point. Tight roping the blue line that time was Hayes. Now it goes into the corner. Smith. Two of the Spacemen try to take care of him. Played out of midair, and can they clear the zone? No. Daner along the boards. He's pinched from behind that time by Hayes. And that will be blasted the length of the rink. Now the power play down to 24 seconds. Hustling up is Phillips. Probably one more quality rush. McDougall dancing over the blue line. Right along the half wall, but nobody home. And that'll be cleared the length of the rink by the Spacemen. And this could pretty well take care of the power play as we are now down to the final 6 seconds. So a good job on the PK by the Spacemen, starting with being down 2 men for 26 seconds. Now Daner will flip it ahead. They're even. Boy, that time Perry almost had a chance to break in behind the defense. Delayed offside. And so weaving with the puck is Cameron Perry. He'll fire it, gloved by Eberle, and he'll probably just hang on for the faceoff as Perry was hustling in, looking for some loose change. So 8:54 to go here in the first period, no score. Fort Wayne has the only 2 penalties, and that created a brief 5-on-3 advantage for Metro, but a good job on the PK.
Yeah, Fort Wayne is probably one of the highest grossing penalty minutes in the division right now for the Midwest East. So good job there on the penalty killers not having it burn them early.
Again, they battle along the boards. Controlled by Dreyer. Comes along the wall. Tegmeyer goes over his stick. Cameron Perry tries to set it up. And now McNeil has to hustle back because Anders Florik goes ahead with the puck. There's a quick shot right on and a big save, as that was Fort Wayne's own Dylan Tegmeyer with the quick wrister. Ringing along the wall, and that'll be Devin Perry. Chips off of his stick, and as the puck just floats toward the other end, that will negate icing. Perry steps into his man, but Taylor able to stay in his pins and control. So it looks like Fort Wayne is trying to dial up the forecheck a little bit. There's a big drive as the puck came loose right near the top of the circle. LaPointe with a great blast, but Eberle was there to smother it.
Good chances, though, by Tegmeyer. He's one of the part of the former Homestead Spartans squad. And one thing I remember him playing here in high school varsities, he was always a hard worker, always trying to find ways to improve his game. And then LaPointe down here with another good chance, almost breaking the ice on the first goal of the game.
Well, they ruled the puck was dropped unfairly, so they'll do it again. Between LaPointe and Smith. Well, weaving his way through there to try to control the puck that time was Berard. He'll ring it along into the corner as LaPointe will try to get it back to the point. Comes up in the slot. Berard, big wrist shot. That deflected right in front of the net, as that time Buck with a quick wrister. Now they go for another battle behind the net. Schwetz stepped into his man, kept in. Looks like Berard digging around with Eslanian. So Fort Wayne is really dialing up the forecheck as we're down to 7:20 to go here in this opening period. LaPointe rubbed off the play that time by Benoit. A lot of scrumming along the boards right now. Schwetz and LaPointe doing battle with a couple of the Jets. And we'll see who can come away with it. And it looks to me like Berard, who primarily has played defense, is playing a wing, at least on this shift. No icing will be called, and the race to the puck is won by Fort Wayne. Now Buck will take control, spin away from his man. Long pass, and that doesn't connect with Berard. Logan Davis dumps it in, goes for a change, and then a Jet and a Spaceman collide, and now Fort Wayne looks for a breakout. That's a little too strong, but that winds up banking on goal. Eberle has to put the big glove over it, so that'll be a whistle and a face-off in the Metro zone. 6:27 to go. It has been a very fast-paced first period, and again, just a couple of penalties, both against Fort Wayne, and both came close enough to give Metro 26 seconds of two-man advantage time, but Fort Wayne able to choke off both of those threats. Phillips rings it along the boards. Collected by Mitchell Hoon. Chips it to center, and that's knocked away that time by Emmy Johnson. Back into the Metro zone they go. Walters, long pass, and he connects. Time the player, those bumped off the play by the Fort Wayne defenseman. This will go the length of the rink, and they're saying no icing. And hustling is Huffman. Walters will try to play the carom off the board. Jared Fisher pokes it up into the netting, and we'll have a whistle and a face-off right near the Metro blue line. Now 5:51 to go here in the first. Coming up at the first intermission break, we'll have an interview with Nick Graham. He's a former goalie at the North American Hockey League level in the juniors, former hockey ambassador for Pensacola, Florida, and he's the co-founder of Hockey in the Fort podcast, very, very popular here. So we'll talk to Nick about his take on hockey at all levels here in Fort Wayne. Big battle for the biscuit in the corner. In fact, he had three spacemen. It was almost like the frontline team picture in one corner. Robbins is lurking at the top of the circle, hoping to get a pass. Keeps the puck alive briefly, clears the zone, and look out. Boy, a good play there by the Spacemen, by Siebenhaller, to avoid an odd man rush. There's a quick shot. Oh, what a save that time as Schiebel tried to go short side. And there is a whistle behind the net. And looked like the net came off its mooring.
Good defensive play by Siebenaller.
Yep.
He's got a brother that plays in the East Coast League, Blake Siebenaller, for the Wheeling Nailers.
Yes.
So a strong family line there. Good defensive players, both of them, both Siebenaller brothers.
McDougal against Perry on the draw. 5:16 to go. Fort Wayne wins it. Big drive, and that goes off the skate of McDougal, so Buck will have to regather. He flips it across, and that is flipped high into the Metro zone. The race is on. Pair of 28s, Dreyer and Perry battling it out. Dumped into the Fort Wayne zone. Racing in is Mitch Fortin. And Fort Wayne again tries to clear, but it chips up into the netting, so we will have a face-off. And now a little bit of a skirmish going on. Looks like McDougal was in there having a conversation with Buck. And perhaps another of the Spacemen, Perry. Perry's a feisty little guy.
Yeah, yeah, he does that in the varsity level too. He's one of the, you guess you can call him like agitators from like similar to the old school hockey. He's always trying to get underneath the other team's skin.
4:52 here left in the first. Good crowd here at the Ice House. The upper level here, we're in the overtime lounge for our broadcast vantage point. It's full, and then people ringing the rink is a quick shot that time, and Eberle fumbled it just a bit as Daner was breaking in off the wing. So both goalies have been up to the task as we now have hit the 4:44 mark to go here in the first. Yeah, the Hockey in the Fort podcast is a very, very solid supporter for the Spacemen, so it'll be fun to talk to Nick and see what his take is. Hockey at all levels, from youth to high school, college, this junior level, and the pros. Tom's Barons, we haven't heard much of him so far in the first, but he's out there with Huffman and Jared Fisher. There's an errant pass. That'll be run down by big Austin Buck. He backhands the pass across. Chipped along the wall. Fisher tries to find it, but can't. And it's dumped into the Fort Wayne zone. Austin Buck takes a peek over the shoulder. Fires it ahead to Huffman. He can't get it out of the zone, though, and that quick shot goes behind the net. And this will go the length of the rink and likely be icing, as Buck was looking for somebody up the middle and just didn't quite connect, so now we're at 4:02 to go here in the first.
As you mentioned, Barons and Fisher out together. You normally see them on a line together unless things really aren't working and Schrock's trying to change up the lineup, try to find that offensive line that will really connect for some goals. But right now, it looks like a pretty good line out there for Barons and Fisher.
Fort Wayne wins the draw. I'll tell you what, those Metro defensemen have stepped right in. Big shot that time, and what a glove save by Hayward. The Metro defensemen have done a good job of stepping up a couple of feet in front of the blue line, not necessarily pinching in a lot, but they're holding their ground, and they're kind of stuffing Fort Wayne a little bit with that first attempted clearing pass. And that time, that resulted in a quality shot. Hayward had to be ready, and he was.
Yeah, great defensive IQ for the Metro Jets defensemen.
Now Fort Wayne looking for a breakout, and it's Berard. Oh, it's sticked aside, rebound, big drive, and that's kicked out of there again. So Eberle a couple of good saves. Schwetz steps into Tegmeyer with authority. And Fort Wayne tried to keep control, but it's cleared to center. Racing out to get the puck that time was Cole Rodriguez, the newcomer. Chipped off the wall. LaPointe was looking to get a handle on it. And now the Spacemen again looking for a way to break out, but that oppressive pressure that's put on by Metro. And look out in front again. Backhander, and again that is covered up by Hayward, as slithering in was Logan Davis. So a pretty good forecheck has been applied here during the first period by Metro as well. We're at the 3:09 mark. Still scoreless here at the Parkview Sport One Ice House. Brandon Porter, Kent Horman here on the Spacemen Broadcast Network. Good to be back, since it has been since late October since we've had a chance to call a game and since the Spacemen have been home. Kind of a bizarre schedule this year, which maybe happens to teams in their inaugural year. Spinning is Daner. Oh, backhands it, and it's an errant pass, and it's intercepted by Metro. As that time, Hoon came up with it, but now Fort Wayne, well, they tried for the breakout. And now the puck is dumped in, but we're going to have a whistle.
I believe Metro was offside on that play.
Yeah, I think it was a delayed offside. So now with 2:43 to go here in the first. Well, it's Fisher out there with Huffman. And again, they battle for the puck. Barron's out there on the wing. Now it's just dumped in with the backhand. Fort Wayne will give chase. Barron's will be the first to arrive behind the net, trying to take his man off the play. Now it's a poke check attempt by Fisher. Backhanding it to the point, kept in by Daner, right in front. A quick shot. Oh, that just gets wide. As that time, Barron's with an opportunity. That shot goes way wide, and Huffman will battle with Taylor for it. Fisher putting the pressure on. Taylor steps into Huffman. As we wind down to 2 minutes to go here in the first period, Fisher spins, rings it along the boards. Comes right out in front. Big save that time by Eberle as Barron's took the centering pass but just couldn't quite smack it home. Comes back to the point. Cross ice it goes. Little toe drag and a quick shot that time by Buck. Taylor stepped into heavily by Barron's. And this will not be an icing. 100 seconds to go here in the first. Long pass that's intercepted by Metro, but he had to wait till his teammate was onside. That gives an opportunity for the Spacemen. Daner's wrist shot is blockered aside and into the netting, so we'll have a face-off. It looks like the scoring chances, Brandon, are improving a little bit, and Fort Wayne is getting a little more pressure and some more quality shots on Eberle.
Yeah, but as you guys, they are getting really good chances, and Eberle has really stood tall. Both goalies doing a great job back and forth. Good saves on both ends. Eventually, though, one's got to give. We'll see who that is first.
Draw comes back to the point, dumped into the corner. Racing for it. The point with a big check. Berard tries to take his man off the play and does. Now back to LaPointe. Well, LaPointe couldn't get enough mustard on the pass, so breaking out, and here come Metro as Telly leading the charge, tries to go cross ice, but that was poked away by Fort Wayne, and they're able to clear the zone. Almost had a chance for a 2-on-1. Berard on the off wing. Takes his time, big wrist shot, and again, that's right into the belly of Eberle as we have less than a minute to go here in the first. A lot of end-to-end action, just the two penalties called on Fort Wayne, so they've played a physical brand of hockey, but a very clean brand of hockey.
Yeah, that's a big difference in what we've seen earlier on the year. The Spacemen are playing physical as well as Metro, but they're keeping it clean and within the rules, not too many penalties. Knock on wood, though, that doesn't change.
The draw is won by Fort Wayne. Buck will take it in deep, slides it along. Berard takes a look over his shoulder, and that time one of the Metro players lost an edge. They try for the centering pass. Big drive that time by LaPointe. That carried off of Walters, I believe. Now down to the final 36. Good job by Buck, but he has his pocket picked that time by Garrick Smith. Smith with a drive and a big save that time at the other end by Hayward.
Good job by Hayward being square to the shot. That one goes right into the stomach area. And another big save with 29.1 remaining here in the first. Still 0-0.
Well, even at this level, it seems like the trend is goaltenders are big. Hayward, 6'5", 201 pounds. And Christopher Eberle is a big guy as well. Now down to the final 20 seconds, so Fort Wayne just wants to make sure not to make a mistake. Just pinning the ball, the puck along the wall. Now Daner skates behind his net down to the final 10 seconds. Kept in at the point, but that's deflected. Now down to the final 4, 3, 2, and that should do it for the first period. And the whistle sounds, the horn blows, and we have completed the opening 20 minutes of play from here at the Ice House in Fort Wayne. It is the Metro Jets Development Program 0 and the Fort Wayne Spacemen 0. We'll take a break, come back for a quick recap, and then have a conversation with our special guest, Nick Graham. That's coming up on the other side of the break. You are watching Fort Wayne Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.
The Acme Bar and Grill, where neighbors meet. A Fort Wayne tradition since 1941. We feature nightly dinner specials along with our iconic pizza, wings, and pork tenderloins, and barbecue in our family-friendly atmosphere with a retro flair. Additionally, we offer a full bar with 26 beers on tap from various Midwest breweries. We also have an area perfect for private events such as meetings, reunions, and banquets that holds up to 50 people. The Acme Bar and Grill, located in the heart of East State Village, where neighbors...
For every victory, for every highlight, for every team in the Summit Athletic Conference, we've got you covered. Like, follow, and subscribe for all the latest.
It's the comets. Comets falling from the sky. 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 Comets falling from the sky.
Developing athletes to be foundationally strong. Healthy and consistent training. Expert staff. Long-term athletic development. Parkview Sports Medicine Performance. Any athlete, any age. Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walk-in clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit parkviewsportsmedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
It's intermission time here at the Fort Wayne Parkview Sport One Ice House, the home of the Fort Wayne Spacemen. After one period of play, the Spacemen and the Metro Jets development program are scoreless. Not much to talk about, just a couple of penalties in the first period. The newcomer to Fort Wayne, Cole Rodriguez, took an interference penalty at 7:13. And then Austin Buck went off for elbowing at 8:48. That created a rather dicey situation for the Spacemen because they were down 5-on-3 for a period of 26 seconds, but their penalty killing unit was able to kill off those penalties, so a good job. And we are scoreless after the opening 20 minutes. Fort Wayne outshot Metro in the first period 16-9, but both goaltenders did a fine job. Christopher Eberle of Metro, very, very solid in the net, and Michael Hayward for Fort Wayne, a lot of his 9 saves were quality shots. So scoreless after the first period. We are pleased now here during this first intermission to bring in a special guest, Nick Graham, one of the co-founders of the Hockey in the Fort podcast. And I'll tell you what, Nick, you know, you've kind of had a finger on the pulse of all the hockey here in Fort Wayne, from what's going on with the incredible development of our youth programs through high school, now with our junior teams, a couple of quality college teams, or if you want to throw Trine in the area, that'd be another team.
Definitely, for sure.
And then, of course, the Comets, and they're off to a really, really good start to their season. So hockey's alive and well in Fort Wayne right now.
It sure is. And it's been a big part of my life, too. I grew up, I was out of the McMillan Ice Center when I was a year and a half old on skates.
Yep.
And never turned back, and made it all the way up through the North American League for the St. Louis Bandits as a goaltender, and blew my knee out, decided to call it a career, but never want to give it up. And then I love helping these kids out here. And I've known John Finch for a while and helped him try to get this thing going off the ground for the Spaceman kids. And of course, the Comets have been a part of my life, my entire life. So Fort Wayne's a special place to me. I moved away for about 5 years, and now I'm sitting here back again.
Well, it has to be good because, I talk to people being born and raised here. I'm giving away my age. I remember when McMillan was an outdoor rink, and I skated out there. But I miss those good old McMillan Park days, but we have this tremendous facility here, the Parkview Sportwind Ice House with 3 sheets of ice, the amazing developmental programs, the Parkview Force programs that they have.
Yeah.
And like you said, you were on blades when you were 1 year old. These kids can start at a very early age, try and grow and progress. And I'm sitting here, I look across the rink, and there's Kaylee Schrock, who was playing hockey at Snyder High School. He ended up winning some championships with the Fort Wayne Comets. So it starts young, and when you can have that type of progression, it can be done.
Yeah, and Schrocky's a prime example of Fort Wayne hockey in a nutshell, too, because I was 2 years behind him, and I played for Snyder. And we played against each other for a year in the North American League when he was with Toledo. And it was one of those things like we knew each other, but we didn't.
Yeah. And
then 15 years down the road or something, we get back together for the Spacemen, and I was like, you remember that one game? I was the other goalie that you did not score on. I got to rub that in the wound all the time. But, yeah, it's just fun to – and I worked for the Pensacola Ice Flyers for several years, the year when Gary Graham was down there, and then with Rod Aldoff for 4 years after that. And everybody in Pensacola, Florida, you wouldn't think of knows Fort Wayne because of the Comets and the history, and everybody knew Bob Chase's name. And
yep.
It's been amazing to me being all over the country like I have to experience. Everybody knows our town because of this game.
What is your evaluation of what you've seen so far of this United States Premier Hockey League team? I mean, you look at Fort Wayne, and they come in tonight with an overall record of 8 wins, 15 losses, and they have a couple of overtime losses, and especially coming off a very, very tough road trip. They're trying to break a 7-game losing streak tonight. But the one thing I think people have to understand, this is the inaugural year. This is the first year. So trying to put a team together, get those quality players, build that chemistry. I think Kaylee's done a great job, but this is really a tough hockey league. And if these guys hope to get out of here and maybe go to certain levels of collegiate hockey or beyond, this is a pretty good starting point.
Yeah, so before the season started, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really know a whole lot about the USPHL.
Right, I didn't either, to be honest.
Honestly, I'd never heard of it. And Schrocky came up to me one day and said, hey, this is what it is, and the day that they introduced him as coach. And at that point, I didn't know what they were playing in. And I've been to several away games now, and all the home games for the most part, unless the Comets are playing. And then it's a fast league.
Yes.
The big thing I've noticed, like when I played juniors in the North American League, it was more, it was quick when you're on the ice. But watching these kids, you just don't expect to see the speed that you do and the kind of finesse that you can with these 17, 18-year-old kids. They would blow us away when I played. And it's been fun to watch the changes they've made. There's been several roster moves, and they're making the team better as they go. And I think for an inaugural season, it's been really well done. And
I think it says a lot, again, maybe primarily about the high school programs over the years, because I think the scouting report was, hey, this is going to be a pretty tough team for anybody to make, and we've got people coming from far and near. But there was early skepticism about, well, I'm not sure a Fort Wayne kid could make this team. Well, a Fort Wayne kid is leading the league in scoring, and about half the roster are Fort Wayne kids. So it goes to show they can more than hold their own at this level.
Definitely. And it's fun to see, like, you look at all these other teams. Metro's a prime example. I looked at their roster. Not many of them are from that area.
Right.
And they don't hold a pride to their town like the kids here at Holden. And it's kind of nice to see, like you said, half the team's Fort Wayne kids. And you're starting to see these other kids that are from out of town really starting to hold into the town and the feeling that it is when they're around town. I've seen them around, and they're buying in.
I want to ask you a quick question about the big club, about the Comets. Of course, massive changes going on, all sorts. First of all, starting with the coaching staff, and they decided to somewhat keep it in-house because Ben Boudreau had been an assistant to Gary Graham, who now seems to be alive and well in China. And they kept Olivier Legault. And the other thing that probably was even the bigger facelift was the roster. Only 2 veterans right now on that roster. One, Sean Sidlowski, very popular. A guy people really weren't sure to get their arms around, A.J. Jenks. But you talk about a youth movement. And, with the dual affiliations somewhat, with the help from Vegas and the help from the L.A. Kings, I talked to Jason Binkley one time, and I said, is this a good thing or a bad thing? He goes, yes and no. Because building up the consistency and the continuity, even at that level. But it seems like, as we're speaking tonight, they have a game in Kansas City. But 6 in a row, and it seems like this team is starting to put it together. especially with the goaltending, and that's where they're getting the help from the NHL. But the defense seems to be starting to mesh, and they've got some really solid lines coming together. You're just going to have to live with the fact you're going to have those call-ups.
Yeah, so I think the offseason, I was really active with them over the offseason with Benny and staying right there with him. And I remember when he let me know, he goes, "We have a big signing coming that nobody's going to believe." And,
that was AJ?
Yeah. I went to lunch, and he let me know, and he wouldn't tell me the name. And it was like 2 days before that they announced AJ wasn't coming back to Toledo, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way." And I'll admit, AJ's been a nemesis of mine for the last 5 years. And then I finally met him, and we had him on our show, and he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the game, honestly. He's a great guy. I know he's kind of beat up a little bit right now, heading to meet the team, as far as I know. But Benny did a great job putting the youth movement together, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. And he knew he was going to get the help from up top, because they kind of knew for a while LA was going to send some guys. But it's just been really fun to watch these new kids gel. And the goaltending coming around, I think Keeler going back up to the AHL there for that month really, really helped him. His rebound control is tenfold better since he's come back. I don't really know what to think of Ferguson, because we haven't really seen a fair enough of him. You know, with Marc-Andre Fleury's dad passing away and him being up with Chicago because of that, and some other stuff. But I think the defense has been the most fun, because at the beginning of the year, I could have told you that we'll never win a 1-0 hockey game.
Right.
There's no chance in the world. And then last night they did it, and you can just see these guys buying in and selling out and sacrificing the body, and it's just been fun to watch. And I think that team's going to really make a deep run. They have phenomenal coaching and ownership, and it's just going to be a good time to watch.
Well, I think they grow with every game, and I think their schedule's a little quirky because on the road for 2 weeks, which is kind of rare this time of year, and then they're going to have another 2 weeks away from the Coliseum, which is traditional at the end of January when the circus comes in, and they take the ice down. But they weather the storm with these road trips, and the way they've really been playing on home ice, I think you're right. I think they're going to be in good shape. Health is always an issue, and as you get, into March and April, what the roster will look like in terms of what the American League does and what the big clubs do. But if they can kind of get this roster reasonably settled, especially with who their number one goaltender is going to be, I think you're right. I think it could be a deep run.
I do. I really believe it. And I know this trip's going to be tough. Tulsa's not easy, and they beat them.
Yeah.
Their goaltender played just as well as Keeler. He just had one get by. And then Kansas City, they're nightly. They're kind of streaky. You never know what team you're going to get. But when they go to Idaho, they're going to have to weather the storm, because that team's big and strong, and they like to beat up on you.
That's what I hear. I hear they like to play the body a lot.
Yeah, it's that Western style, man. Them in Utah and Allen and all them, they like to beat up on you.
Well, thanks for spending some time with us up here. Really appreciate it. Looking forward. I know I was supposed to get together with you one time when you had the Comet reunion down at Rudy's.
Hey, next year. We're doing it again.
Next year. And that's the other thing we're blessed with. A lot of the Comet legends, I play with 4 of them every Tuesday out here.
Yeah.
And, these guys stick around town. They give back to the community in a myriad of ways, including helping with hockey. So continue your great work with the podcast.
Definitely. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it.
Okay, that's Nick Graham, and he has his Hockey in the Fort podcast. We're going to take a quick break and get ready for second period action. The Metro Jets against the Spacemen. We are scoreless, and you are watching Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.
Thank you for supporting Summit City Sports. For the last several years, we've provided the Fort Wayne community and beyond with coverage of a variety of sports, thanks to our title sponsorship from Parkview Sports Medicine. Since we began in 2015, our annual budget has covered the cost of videographers and commentators to over 300 plus games each year. New equipment and maintenance of that equipment, along with increased broadcast rights fees from the IHSAA. This season, we're reaching out to friends, families, and local businesses for additional sponsorships and donations. You can help us grow and get coverage to your favorite team or sport. A Summit City Sports sponsorship or donation will help make that happen. We have the goal of bringing fans live stream games of every SAC game we cover. With the additional funds, we'd invest in mobile internet devices, allowing us to bring our supporters every SAC conference football and boys and girls basketball games live, as well as more coverage for sports like cross country, tennis, golf, swimming, wrestling, track and field, baseball, and softball. For more information on sponsorships or how to donate, visit SummitCitySports.com.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit parkviewsportsmedicine.com to learn more about what we can do.
Welcome back to Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network. Brandon Porter, Kent Horman here from the Parkview Sport One Ice House. The Spacemen, in their home whites with orange and black trim, are huddling around their head coach Kaylee Schrock, getting some final instructions, while you have the Metro Jets, who look a lot like the Winnipeg Jets in their red, white, and blue, with a very familiar-looking Jets logo.
I do believe Winnipeg actually has a very similar setup for a third jersey this season, actually, in the NHL. I always like those retro looks.
Yeah, I do too. Yep. We come to center to start the second period, and we are underway. Robbins spins around, tries to poke it in, but how quickly Metro had it. Fortin dumps it back to his defenseman. That should be icing if Fort Wayne can win the race, and it is. As that time, the defender, Beeman, shot it from behind the red line. I think he wanted to dump it in and have his teammates chase it down, but he fired it so hard that that was an easy icing. So 16 seconds into period two, the faceoff goes to the right of the goaltender, Christopher Eberle, who was flawless, saving all 16 shots. There's another quick shot that time. Schiebel came away with the puck, and I'll tell you what, Eberle was Johnny on the spot, and he swatted it away with the big stick. Now it's Metro looking for the breakout. That'll be chipped in. Hayward flags it down, leaves it behind the net. McDougall can't corral it, and here comes Steele. Steele comes across looking for Schiebel. That's a little too strong. Oh, that time it's intercepted. A big shot. Just knocked down that time with the glove of Eberle as he tried to clear it. Cleared it right into a Fort Wayne player, and that created a scoring opportunity. Daner can't keep it in at the point, so he'll come cross ice. And that time LaPointe, thought he was going to get the pass from Rodriguez. Now pinching along the wall. Daner tries to rub his man off the play. And who will come away with it? It's Metro. And that'll just be flipped in on a deflection. Pounces right behind the net. LaPointe swings it around, and Rodriguez looks for the breakout pass to Schwetz, but briefly intercepted. Now LaPointe with the long reach. And there is a lot of scrumming at neutral ice. Now it's into the Fort Wayne corner. Two players bump. Now Zaletti with the centering pass, and that time Hoon tried to make a little center with the backhand instead of put it on goal, and nobody was home. Now it's Metro applying the pressure. It's dumped behind the net. Racing forward is Hayes. Hayes back to the point. There's a big drive, and what a pad save that time by Hayward. Right out in front. Another shot. Hayward with another big save, as that time he denies Hayes, and a score. Hayes centered the pass across. No Fort Wayne defenseman was home. And Metro is on the board.
Looks like it might be Hoon.
Yeah, Mitchell Hoon with the goal. Hayes will get an assist, and it comes at 2:05. So Hoon and Hayes will get an assist. And Zatelli with the helpers. So Hoon the goal, Hayes and Zatelli the assists at 2:05, and it's 1-0 in favor of Metro. And we have an icing. Well, that was a pretty pass that time from Hayes, as just left all alone on the side was Hoon. And really, Hayward had no chance after making a great save on Hayes. Well, let's see if Fort Wayne can answer. Fisher trying to put some pressure on, but they can't clear again. That shot that time deflects off of Siebenhaller, and now Fort Wayne looking for the breakout as Huffman is leading the charge, but there's going to be a penalty coming up. Let's see who they're going to call it on. They're going to call this one eventually. It's a delayed penalty. That'll be called on Metro, and that pass goes the length of the rink, so that'll be an icing, but the penalty will be called against Metro, and I believe it's going to be a hook. So that will come at 2:45. Benoit with a hook. So this will be Fort Wayne's first power play opportunity. And the good news is the power play negates the icing that was going to be called on the Spacemen. Robbins on the draw for the Spacemen. Well, the puck is clogged up right there in the circle. And that is cleared. So Fort Wayne will have to come back and regroup. As Metro has drawn first blood with the goal by Hoon. And again, Metro intercepts the pass. Well, Fort Wayne having a tough time penetrating the zone. So Siebenhaller comes across to Robbins. He comes across to Berard. Now Berard trying to get past his defender. Looking to go around the net, see if he can center it to anybody. And that goes off a defender of Metro's skate. Now a quick shot. That time, wow, that time Eberle I don't think knew where it was, Brandon, but it caromed off of somebody and up into the netting. So both teams will put fresh troops out there. Still a minute and 9 seconds to go in the Fort Wayne power play. 16:24 remains here in period number 2. 1-0 in favor of the Metro Jets development program. Now Fisher can't quite win the draw. And Metro will try to clear, and it does. It gets past the defender, Buck. And now the race is on for the biscuit. Hayward controls. He rings it around the boards, but that was a little too strong. That'll just be dumped in. Delayed offside. Now Fort Wayne controls and regroups. And Buck will lead the charge right down the middle of the ice. He'll just flip it in. Fisher would try to win the race, but he can, as that time Slanian golfed it out of the zone, so Buck will circle again. Only 34 seconds left in the power play, and Fort Wayne has had a tough time getting any kind of an opportunity to set up shop. Now they do a little. Cross ice it goes that time. Back to the point. One-timer that time by Buck is way wide, but a rebound. Like Huffman tried to tuck that one in, but that was a little bit wide, and that should probably do it for the power play as it's cleared the length of the rink. Just 8 seconds left with the man advantage. So Fort Wayne with one last rush, and that's a little too strong for Fisher. So that will do it. The penalty is up. Both teams at full strength. Buck behind his net banks it off the boards. Well, a little backhand pass that time by Behrens. Didn't have much on it. Buck steps into his man big time as he rode Benoit off the play. Now Benoit returns the favor and steps into Buck and knocks Buck to the ice. Lapointe looking to lead the breakout. Lapointe with good speed. Right along the hash, tries to center, and that time just not there. Fisher was looking for it, now at the side of the net. Big scramble in front. Eberle can't smother. Now it comes along the half wall. Daner missed it, and Fort Wayne's lucky not to have a two-man men on the ice call. Well, Behrens leaves that time for Johnson. Johnson has it poked away from him, so here comes that oppressive Metro forecheck. Now Daner ahead to Behrens. Now Perry. Perry spins a 2-on-1. Perry takes a look. The shot. Score! Perry, a little bit of a deke, and he gets the goal to tie the game. What a great play by Perry, and we are tied at 1. Time of the goal will be 5:47. We'll see who has the assist. Now, a great little deke by Perry, because I think the defender was looking for a pass to be made, and next thing you know, he snapped it in the back of the net. with the goal. Daner gets the assist. And we are tied at 1, and of course with a goal being scored by Cameron Perry, or if his brother Devin ever scores one, that's brought to you by Hutamaki Packaging and the Labeling Company. So congratulations, Cameron Perry, to tie this game up at 1. We now have 13:40 to go as McNeil scoops it up. Weaves his way out of the zone, but that's poked away that time by Tegmeyer, the Fort Wayne product. Now McNeil jousting, that time with Floric. Siebenhaller behind the net. Well, there's a bit of a board meeting going on behind the net. Who's going to come out with it? It comes back to the point. But Fort Wayne intercepts, and here's McNeil. That's poked away. Now it's intercepted. Devin Perry tries to get one in. A lot of body contact going on here, which is really kind of clogging up the passing lanes. Well, Zachary Steele was racing in from his spot at the point. There again, that one was fanned on by Cole Rodriguez, and here comes Metro back the other way. That's banked off the boards that time by Braden Taylor. And now Fort Wayne looking to come out with numbers, but that's intercepted right at center ice, dumped back into the Fort Wayne zone. Very fast-paced hockey game. That time Hayward will rip it around the boards, but that's kept in at the point. For now, Robbins tries to kick it out with his skate to get it just over the blue line. And Taylor banks it right into his own man, but it is flipped into the Fort Wayne zone. Fort Wayne looking for the quick breakout. Steele with a long shot, sticked aside that time by Eberle. And we'll see if Fort Wayne can put some forechecking pressure on, and no more than say that, and the Jets break it out. Rubbed off the play that time. A good check by Buck as he just rode Nick McDougal right into the board. So McDougal comes back and hits Daner. And Steele tries to flip it out. Comes back into the Fort Wayne zone. That was a delayed offside, but Metro touched up, so on they play. Again, dumped back into the Fort Wayne zone, but quickly breaking out is Buck. He comes across. Steele looking to take a look, throws it behind the net. Now LaPointe just tries to throw it in front. That's deflected away, and the race is on for the puck. Metro almost has a breakaway, but Zatelli couldn't keep his feet. I think he thought he may have been pulled down a little bit, but on they play. Now spinning is Schwetz. LaPointe tries to get past his man and does. Kevin LaPointe. He's got the weave and the move. He comes in, and he's bumped hard off the play as that time Aslanian made sure he couldn't be a factor. Berard perched out in front looking for a centering pass. That'll be a tripping penalty as Berard tried to stop his man from going by him, but he just managed to click the heels out. Quick shot, that caromed away. So Fort Wayne needs to touch it up so they can get the whistle and the penalty, and Berard is talking to the ref like, who, me? And he's also showing his mouth where he got clipped with the stick. I don't think Mitch Perry saw that part of it. So a trip goes against Fort Wayne. Berard. Metro goes back on the power play. The time of the penalty is 9:20. Third penalty called against the Spacemen. Fisher and McDougal on the draw. Now McDougal pinching along the boards. There's been an awful lot of scrumming along the walls tonight in this game. Huffman tries to clear but can't, but now here come the Spacemen breaking out. Siebenhaller looked like all but had a saddle put upon him, but no call there. There's a quick shot that skitters wide. Quick shot that time by Taylor. Metro able to keep it in. Now Fortin shoved off by Siebenhaller. Fisher can't quite clear. That time it looked like Metro was going to try to tee it up. There's a one-timer. It's deflected and smothered that time by Hayward. And that time, like McDougal shoved a Spaceman player on top of his own goaltender. And let's see if Hayward is shaken up a little bit. A little conversation between Siebenhaller and McDougal. Well, that's one of the things where a goaltender has to really be prepared. When you're looking at the puck and probably about 4 or 5 feet in front of you, it changes direction. And it's a good thing that didn't go 5-hole, so a good job of keeping the pad stacked by Hayward. 1:14 to go in the power play, 9:55 to go in period number 2. Referee Mitch Perry tells Buck and Patrick Hayes not to come creeping in. And the draw goes back to the point. Well, that quick shot is deflected by Schiebel, and it goes back into the zone. And so here comes Metro again with still a minute to go in the power play. Slaney in circles. Steps over center ice. Now he'll weave. And that caroms up into the netting. And that'll be another whistle and a face-off. Well, after tonight's game, welcome home for one game in December. Another 7-game road trip for the Spacemen, 2 in Motor City, 4 in a Chicago showcase. And then January 4th, the 2020 part of their schedule begins with a trip to Midwest. But then January and February, they basically stay in Fort Wayne. Final 11 games will be here at the Ice House. Now Fort Wayne trying to put some pressure on, shorthanded. It's like Schiebel was trying to pull the trigger, but just couldn't quite get it. Now it goes out of the zone, so they'll take some time off the clock. Buck comes ahead. Robbins, no, but intercepted by Metro. Quick shot that time, and the blocker save on the quick shot by Patrick Hayes, who's been a factor in this game for Metro. Now Hoon, who has the goal for Metro, digging along the boards. A little bit of shoving going on. And the penalty is over, so both teams are back to even strength. And just as that time, as Laney was going to try to take a shot, Berard came up and picked his pocket and avoided the chance to have him get the shot on goal. Well, now Berard, who's had a chance to sit, looked like he got tripped, and there's going to be a penalty called on Metro. And that will result in the penalty call, and now it'll be the Spacemen going on the power play. So Berard no more than came out after his tripping call, and he draws one. So now Fort Wayne will go on the power play. Let's see who's going to the box.
Get back to what you were saying earlier about being ready for those redirects. A lot of goalies go through intense mental training when it comes to redirections. Hoon goes to the box.
Yep. So Mitchell Hoon, who has the goal for Metro, goes into the penalty box for tripping. So Fort Wayne, its second power play opportunity. Now Buck fakes the shot, comes across. Fisher, little snapshot, a lot of traffic in front. They're trying to scramble for the loose puck. Well, they don't get a chance to smother it for the face-off, so Fort Wayne trying to get another opportunity. Fisher back to Buck. Buck comes the other way, LaPointe. LaPointe, a little too strong for Fisher, so he'll just collect along the half wall. Another quick wrist shot. Goes over the top of the net. Now Buck. So Fort Wayne able to set up more of a power play. His quick shot is right on and covered up that time by Eberle. So Buck trying to catch him a little flat-footed, especially being able to shoot the puck through a maze of players, and it got through. Eberle able to make the save. Still 1:22 left in the man advantage. 7:42 left in the period.
Good job by Eberle, finding the open lane around the screen, making sure he can track the puck all the way to him.
Oh, that hops over Siebenhaller's stick, and he has his pocket picked that time as here comes Taylor. Taylor with a quick shot and a big blocker save by Hayward. So a bullet dodge there. Now Fisher leads the breakout with still 1:04 to go in the man advantage. Fisher weaving right down the middle, kind of hauled off the play as he goes to the ice. Huffman comes back to Siebenhaller. Siebenhaller, well, I tell you what, does he ever look and play like his brother? No question about that. Now Fisher. Pinched along the wall that time by McDougall. Fort Wayne keeping it in. And that time it will carry him off of a shin guard and wind up at center ice. So LaPointe will circle in the neutral zone. 34 seconds left in the power play. LaPointe rubbed off that time by McDougal. And Metro clears it the length of the rink. Actually wound up on goal, so Hayward will leave it. Siebenhaller will spin and come across to Robbins. Robbins up ahead. Good job by Metro again to not allow Fort Wayne to penetrate the zone.
It's like they're running a blue line trap. They're not letting much outside the blue line.
And the final 4 seconds of the power play, that's dumped into the zone that time by Aslanian. And both teams return to even strength. We are tied at 1, 6:16 to go. Period number 2, a very fast-paced hockey game. Now here comes Schiebel. Schiebel dancing in. Oh, he splits the defense. Tries to get the shot on goal. Eberle comes out, covers it up. What a play that time by Corbin Schiebel. Kind of dropped the shoulder, went left, and then sliced right through 2 defenders to come right at the goal mouth. But that time, Christopher Eberle was able to deny the second chance opportunity.
Great moves by Schiebel, great chance, scoring opportunity, but once again, Eberle showing off his abilities as this goaltending battle continues.
Quick shot that time, and that's steered aside by Eberle as we're under 6 minutes to go. Cameron Perry, who has the goal for Fort Wayne, intercepted and dumped it back into the corner. Now here comes Metro. Gathered in by Buck. Buck feeds it ahead. Big hit that time by Cole Phillips. Now it looks like the physicality is starting to pick up as Denner steps into his man. Now Cole Phillips dumps it. A centering pass right in front, poked away, score. The goal to Hoon. He's got his second of the night as Hayward did a great job of poking the one pass away, but then it came right out down the slot, and Hoon knocked it into the open net. So Metro reclaims the lead. Second goal of the night by Mitchell Hoon. And it comes at 14:34. Well, Hayward did all he could do. He put the big stick out there to deny one scoring opportunity, but then a rebound came right down the slot, and Hoon has his second of the night. Well, we know Zatelli has one of the assists. So Hoon, his second of the night at 14:34. And it's 2-1 in favor of Metro as we wind down to 5 minutes left in period 2. Well, Buck banks it off the boards and then steps mightily into his man, Anders Floric. Now Fort Wayne down at the other end, and that scoring chance again denied with Eberle. Boy, when Eberle gets down there and spreads the pads, it's like he fills the whole net like a garage door. Big scrum along the wall. 4:44 to go here in period number 2. Big drive with a loose puck, and that whistles wide. Denner runs down to get it. He'll snap one, but that's intercepted. That time it looked like it caromed off of Tegmeyer. And now here's Schiebel racing in. Leaves it back for Steele. And Metro trying to control, but Fort Wayne intercepts. And it goes to neutral. So Berard. Now Johnson will just dump it back into the zone. 4 minutes even to go here in period number 2. 2-1 Metro. And the Spacemen really want to find a way to win this game because this is their only home game of the month. Collected by Johnson. Tries to go ahead. Banks off the skate though of Berard. Stays in the Fort Wayne zone. Quick shot that time, and that sails wide as Davis attempted to beat Hayward on the short side. Again, that deflects into the Fort Wayne zone. Now 3.5 to go here in the second. Yimmy Johnson winds up going toward the Fort Wayne goal, so Hayward will just cover it up with the big paw and get the face-off now with 3:24 left here in the second period.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, you're starting to see the physicality starting to come in more into play, but with that rise in the physicality play, you also got to stay within the rules. You can't be taking those penalties that you and me talked about early on in the broadcast.
Well, it has been a relatively penalty-free game as Fort Wayne looks to break it out. Hoffman banks it off the boards, cannot get past Blake Sheridan, but now it comes right in front. And again, Eberle has to be ready, and there's no rebound opportunity. Yeah, each team has been starting to really finish their checks, but they're doing it in a clean and honest way. 3 penalties have been called on the Spacemen and 2 on Metro. And they have not been stick fouls. There have been a couple of tripping penalties, a hook, an elbow, and an interference. So it's been hard hockey, but cleanly played hockey. Hoffman cannot finish right in front as that came through the goal mouth. Now again, they battle in the corner. Behrens and Hoffman trying to poke their noses in there. But it looks like Metro has a chance to clear. Nope, kept in by Siebenhaller. Good job by Siebenhaller, but now the puck does come to center where Fisher will circle back and give it to Siebenhaller. Goes off a Fisher skate right to Behrens. Behrens comes in off the wing, tries to feather it ahead. Fisher looks to run it down in the corner. Now Behrens in there as we wind down to 2.5 to go in period number 2. 2-1 Metro over the Spacemen. And again, there has been an awful lot of scrumming in the corners and behind the net. Sometimes 2 or 3 players from each side. Fortin dumps it into the Fort Wayne zone. Siebenhaller manages to keep an edge as he circles, leaves for Buck. Buck will bank it with authority off the boards, but that's intercepted and dumped right back in by Taylor. And we wind down to 2 minutes to go here in period 2. Just stepping onto the ice that time, and the shot goes high into the netting. Was Zatelli, who's been a factor in this game. He has a pair of assists. Mitchell Hoon has both goals for Metro. Next weekend, Fort Wayne will be in Motor City. And then December 19 through the 22nd, 4 games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in Chicago. Off the faceoff, that shot was right on. Sticked aside by Hayward. Centering pass intercepted by Johnson, but Berard can't escape with it. And a good job of keeping it in by Hayes. Now Hayes digging along the corner. Denner will try to bring it out. Works with it in his feet. Bumped off the play by Zatelli. Now behind the net they go, circling is Walters. Berard trying to hound him. Down to 1:20 to go here in period number 2, and here comes Metro on the breakout. And that'll be offside, as that time Hayes tried to leave a drop pass for Hoon, but he dropped it over the blue line.
Yep, looking to get Mitchell Hoon his hat trick in the game. Of course, if he does get another one, it'd be a natural hat trick at this point, as he's the only one who's been able to find the back of the net for Metro. As we've talked about, a good goaltending battle between Heward and Eberle.
Robbins on the draw. It's pitched over to the left side and immediately dumped in as a shot on goal that Hayward had to kick out of there. Good thing he was alert on that one, and we now have just 1 minute to go here in the second period. Now Steele tries to get it to Schiebel. He was sandwiched by a pair of Jets. And now let's see. Oh, there's a big check that time as Rodriguez was really stepped into. Now behind the Fort Wayne zone. Along the boards, Steele has it. Coming down the wing. Chasing him down that time was Benoit. Yeah, see if Fort Wayne can find a way to center the puck for one last shot. No, they can't. It is smothered again by the big mitt of Christopher Eberle, and we're down to 22 seconds left to go here in the second stanza. Yeah, we talk about next weekend. Fort Wayne will be in Motor City. And coming into tonight, they were in last place with a record of 1-20-1. They only have 3 points. But Fort Wayne first wants to make hay here at the Ice House. Quick shot that time by Buck, and it's flagged down by Eberle. And then the 4-game roadie into Chicago, December 19, 20, 21, and 22. Chicago is leading the East at 17-6. and 1 shootout loss. They have 35 points, 15 points ahead of MJDP. Down to the final 10 seconds as again they battle for it behind the net. Let's see if Barons can find a way to get it out front. Up 2 seconds, 1, and Buck will just put the quick shot on. It's gloved as the buzzer sounds. And that will do it for the second period of play here at the Parkview Sport 1 Ice House. Mitchell Hoon with a pair of goals for Metro, and Cameron Perry notched one for the Spacemen. So after 40 minutes of play, it's Metro leading the Spacemen by the score of 2-1. We'll take a break and recap the second period and what's going on in the game. You are watching Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.
The Acme Bar and Grill, where neighbors meet. A Fort Wayne tradition since 1941. We feature nightly dinner specials along with our iconic pizza, wings, and pork tenderloins, and barbecue in our family-friendly atmosphere with a retro flair. Additionally, we offer a full bar with 26 beers on tap from various Midwest breweries. We also have an area perfect for private events such as meetings, reunions, and banquets that holds up to 50 people. The Acme Bar and Grill, located in the heart of East State Village, where neighbors...
For every victory, for every highlight, for every team in the Summit Athletic Conference, we've got you covered. Like, follow, and subscribe for all the latest.
It's the comets. Comets falling from the sky. 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 Comets falling from the sky.
Developing athletes to be foundationally strong. Healthy and consistent training. Expert staff. Long-term athletic development. Parkview Sports Medicine Performance. Any athlete, any age.
Welcome back to the Parkview Sport 1 Ice House. Brendan Porter and Kent Horman here on the Spacemen Broadcast Network. And after a scoreless first period, there was more action in the second period. It didn't take long, just 2 minutes and 5 seconds in. Metro got on the board. Beautiful centering pass from the corner by Patrick Hayes, and Mitchell Hoon made no mistake, ripping it into the net for a 1-0 Metro lead. Brennan Zatelli also picked up the second helper for Metro. Cameron Perry got Fort Wayne on the board as he notched a goal at the 5:47 mark. Justin Denner got the assist. Again, that came at 5:47 and was a 1-1 hockey game. But at the 14:34 mark, it was Hoon again and Zatelli again with the assist. So Hoon's second goal of the match at 14:34. That made it 2-1 in favor of Metro, and that's where we stand after 2 periods of play. Again, it's been a very, very penalty-free game for the most point. Benoit picked up a hooking penalty at the 2:45 mark. Berard, a trip for Fort Wayne, that came at 9:20. And Hoon also called for tripping for Metro at 11:41. So it has been a very clean, it's been a hard-fought game. A lot of the teams are out there, they're finishing their checks, but they're doing it within the rules. So it's been a very fast-paced hockey game. Shots in the period, Fort Wayne for Metro for a total of 23, and 14 for Metro, I should say. 14 for a total of 23. Fort Wayne had 15 shots. They have a 2-period total of 31. So Fort Wayne has had the shot advantage, but again, the goaltending of Christopher Eberle has really been the difference so far.
Yeah, Eberle's doing a really good job finding the open lanes in the screens, making sure he can track every puck to him. And that's something that the Spacemen are going to have to change if they're really looking to find a way to break him, so to speak, as to start to get pucks in the back of the net. They got to get more traffic in front, try to get those what we call dirty goals in hockey, off the rebounds. And that's going to be one of the things that the Spacemen needs to improve on in the third period if they want to get back into this and go into the next major road trip with a win. Yeah, they really need this win desperately because they're coming off a 7-game losing streak. We can go through the standings here in the Midwest East right now because Chicago, which it's a more experienced hockey team. That team has been around for a while, and they've got guys who know how to play the game. They are 17-6. They do have 1 shootout loss, but they have 35 points. Then the team that's in here, MJDP Metro, 9 wins, 10 losses,
and a couple of overtime losses as well. Decatur, 9-11, and 1 overtime loss, so they have 19 points. The Spacemen, 8 wins, 15 losses, 2 overtime losses. They have 18 points. Then comes Midwest at 8-12 for 16. Detroit, 7-13 for 14 points, and Motor City is 1-20 with an overtime loss. So Motor City is scuffling mightily with just 3 points. And again, talking about where Fort Wayne came in with 103 goals scored. That's not bad, but they've been giving up 125 over their 25 games. 496 penalty minutes, and that has been something that has haunted them through those first 25 games. And over their last 10, 3 wins, 5 losses, 2 overtime losses. MJDP, on the other hand, well, they've only scored 61 goals. They've given up just 73. Far less penalized, more than 100 penalty minutes less than Fort Wayne with 394. And they've been hot. In their last 10 games, 6 wins, 2 losses, 2 overtime losses. So it seems like MGDP is starting to come alive. And again, if you haven't been following that closely, Jared Fisher, the Fort Wayne product, is leading the league in scoring in 24 games to date. 30 goals, 26 assists, and 56 points. He's only logged 28 penalty minutes, so very, very impressive for Fisher. And to tell you how Jared Fisher's kind of been heads and tails above everybody, he's got 56 points. The second highest point getter for Fort Wayne is Kevin LaPointe with 30 points. Coming into this game, the leading scorer for Metro, Mitch Fortin, who has a total of 13 points, 9 goals and 4 assists. So again, we talked about how they've only scored 61 goals in 21 games. Fort Wayne, the more offensive-minded club, but they really, really have to reel in those penalty minutes, which they've done a good job so far in this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's one thing Coach Schrock really emphasized on going into the road trip, and I'm pretty sure as it went on, is keeping the penalty minutes down. Especially when you're on the road a lot, you got the fans against you quite a bit, so every time you take a penalty, they're going to be cheering that you're in the box now and everything, and penalties, as you mentioned earlier, it really gets to you a little bit. You're running almost the same 4 people all the time, so then it gets tiring for the players who are constantly out there on the PK lines. And then eventually when you start getting scored on more and more and more, it starts getting more deflating as it goes on.
And if you just might be tuning in or weren't here for the top of the broadcast, there have been some comings and goings for the Spacemen. Yimin Kim was released by the Spacemen, but his rights were acquired by the Midwest Blackbirds. The Spacemen, they acquired the rights to Carson Salkeld. He's a 6-foot, 185-pound defenseman. He's a Fort Wayne native. He's played 9 games for the Spacemen. He's got a couple of assists. He's not in the lineup tonight, but I know Carson's family very well. I know his father and his uncle, and they've got quite a hockey tradition in that family. Spacemen also picked up Cole Rodriguez from the New York Aviators. He's a 5'10", 200-pounder from St. Louis, making his Spacemen debut tonight, playing defense, and he was wearing number 18. And then again, we talked about the fact that Fort Wayne's own Jared Fisher leads the USPHL Premier League in total points, 30 goals, 26 assists for 56 points. And that's one of the things, that line of Fisher and Behrens and Huffman has been kept rather quiet tonight.
Yeah, that's one thing. Metro's doing a very good job keeping them off the scoreboard. And that's one thing that the Spacemen are really going to find out is now that Fisher and LaPointe and Behrens are being held off the scoreboard, who are they going to look to put it in the net now?
Yep. Yeah, they're going to have some other guys perhaps step up, and obviously Cameron Perry did, and he made a very good play on that goal to get Fort Wayne on the board. But as we get
the replay.
Yep, let's take a look at that. Our Summit City Sports replay, and it was a great breakout. And the next thing you know, you have a 2-on-1 developing, and then look at Perry. He swerves around, looked like he was going to pass it, and then just snapped it home. One of the rare things. In fact, it was the only shot that Christopher Eberle has not stopped for Metro, so that at the point tied the game. But then Hoon scored his second of the match later in the period, and that's where we stand right now, 2-1 Metro. We'll take a break, and we'll come back and get ready for the third and final period here from the Parkview Sport One Ice House. You are watching Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.
The Acme Bar and Grill, where neighbors meet. A Fort Wayne tradition since 1941. We feature nightly dinner specials along with our iconic pizza, wings, and pork tenderloins, and barbecue in our family-friendly atmosphere with a retro flair. Additionally, we offer a full bar with 26 beers on tap from various Midwest breweries. We also have an area perfect for private events such as meetings, reunions, and banquets that holds up to 50 people. The Acme Bar and Grill, located in the heart of East State Village, where neighbors...
For every victory, for every highlight, for every team in the Summit Athletic Conference, we've got you covered. Like, follow, and subscribe for all the latest.
Parkview Sports Medicine's integrated sports medicine team is built to serve the needs of all athletes in all sports. Our team's only goal is to improve athletes in every facet. PSM offers performance training to help athletes get better on the field, dedicated athletic rehabilitation and physical therapy to help them get better off of it, certified athletic trainers in our PSM schools providing daily support to our athletes, and a specialized orthopedic walking clinic when injury strikes. Call 260-266-4007 to speak to our care navigators or visit parkviewsportsmedicine.com to learn more about what we can do to improve athletes at all levels. Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Parkview Ortho Express, located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, gives you access to quick care and orthopedic physicians when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Parkview Ortho Express is open Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Brooks steals it, tips it away to himself. He'll go to the hoop and slam it down.
They attack, they get a great shot.
Here he comes. And Lucas Craw.
Shot hits the post. And the centering feed to Luke Gibson. Shot scores.
The rush comes. Oh, almost picked off by Ethan Hoover.
And the takedown.
The Kelly Automotive Group is simple, transparent, reliable. Simple. Our customer specialists make buying a car easy and fun. Transparent. Our price listed is the best price. No hassle, no gimmicks. Reliable. Buy with confidence and peace of mind. We work hard to ensure the best value however you shop. Come see us in Decatur at the 2733 Auto Mall and shop 7 brands in one location. The Kelly Automotive Group. Simple, transparent, reliable.
It's the comets. Comets falling from the sky. 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 Comets falling from the sky.
Joint pain, sprains, strains, or a possible broken bone? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Call 260-266-4007 for more information.
Get mad about blue. Get mad about your Fort Wayne Mad Ants. When looking for the best basketball action in town, it's Go to FortWayneMadAnts.com for the complete game schedule. See your Fort Wayne Mad Ants in action. Get mad about blue.
Developing athletes to be foundationally strong. Healthy and consistent training. Expert staff. Long-term athletic development. Parkview Sports Medicine Performance. Any athlete, any age, any skill level.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome welcome back to the Parkview Sportwine Ice House. Brandon Porter, Kent Horman here on the Spacemen Broadcast Network. So the ice has been cleaned, and we are waiting for the return of both hockey clubs. And as my old coach, Eddie Long, used to say when I played with the junior team, boys, 20 minutes to Broadway. So we got 20 minutes here in the third period to see if the Spacemen can come back and win this lone home game they have during the month of December. Again, the Spacemen would like to thank their sponsors, the starting lineup sponsors, Three Rivers Federal Credit Union, the ticket sponsors, Cap and Cork, and of course, Hudamaki Packaging and Labeling Company, the sponsors of Devin and Cameron Perry. And Cameron has the Fort Wayne goal tonight. So thanks to all the people who support the Fort Wayne Spacemen. And one of the things, Brandon, I have to tell you, we have our little spot up here in the corner, up in the overtime lounge, and we're lucky to hold our spot because this place is absolutely packed 2 and 3 deep with fans up here. And then you take a look at the little bleachers they have along the wall that is across from the team's benches. This place is absolutely, it really is standing room only. There's a lot of people standing along the board, so it is really great to see the fan support for the Spacemen here in its inaugural season.
Yeah, that's going to really show that the city really does care about the team here, and they're really trying to show support for them. And I'm pretty sure once we get the new seating built up here along the side, from my understanding, they're going to put actual seating in here in a little press box. So once they get that up and finished construction, I'm pretty sure we could probably see a little bit more here.
There has been ongoing construction here at the Ice House ever since Todd Ramsey and some folks reacquired the building from Canlin. And so there has been a lot of remodeling going on. One of the first orders of business was to put a very, very high-quality locker room in for the Spacemen. It is something to behold. It kind of rivals what the Comets have at the Coliseum, and that is NHL caliber. So, and talking to Todd before the game, he said, word is starting to get out. People are starting to give them a call with people wanting to come and play here in Fort Wayne because they're hearing a lot about the facilities, the way the players are treated, and just you have a coach in Kaylee Schrock. So, and then year one, I think the Spacemen will get through this first year. There will be a learning curve, and then with each successive year, and you talk about permanent seating and things like that, a press box, pretty soon they'll have it all.
Yep, it's good to see those kind of things come in. As you said, it'll eventually start bringing players in. They want to play here for Fort Wayne. With the long history we have here, 68 years with the Comets
yes.
this year, or are we in 69?
This is year number 68.
So you got the long history with the professional teams since 1952, a winning tradition. What were we on 9 league championships here in the city? So we got a very long history here that is a winning tradition. And it's looking to hopefully carry over with the Spacemen as we get set for the third.
Third is underway, and Fort Wayne immediately trying to put some pressure on. I'll bet you head coach Kaylee Schrock said, boys, we really have to pick up the forecheck. And so kept into the Fort Wayne zone. That time Mitch Fortin rings it around behind the net. Fort Wayne a little trouble clearing as that time Buck caromed his clearing attempt off of a jet. Now a battle of number 7s as Daner and Taylor joust behind the net. That will go the length of the rink, and that will be an icing.
One thing my college coach talked to me about, Ron Leaf, Comet legend, he said when we're down by 1 goal, best way to win the game is win the period, especially with it being in the third.
Yep.
You want to get off to a great start probably within the first 10 minutes. If you can get off to that good start in the first 10 minutes, you have a good chance of winning the period, which will eventually translate to winning the game.
Off the draw, pinched along the wall. Now Fort Wayne looking to clear because they want to turn back up ice and they want to start applying the pressure as Daner spins not once but twice, gets it behind the net. Sharp pass off the board, and that was deflected. It wound up on goal anyway, so Eberle quickly fires it ahead, and there's an opportunity. Big drive and a save that time. Hayes really lit one up, but Hayward was there to steer it aside. Now Fisher, who's had a very quiet evening, the league's leading scorer with 56 points. And that time Siebenhaller tried to jump into the play, but it was poked away. Now here come the Spacemen. They're just going to dump it on goal. That was a little short hop that Eberle couldn't control the rebound. Fort Wayne tries to intercept, and that time the big drive from the point is deflected by Hoon.
Roofed it.
So the face-off will be in the Metro zone to the right of goaltender Christopher Eberle. Through 2 periods, Fort Wayne the advantage in shots, 31-23, but Eberle has had a big night in net. Fisher on the draw against Smith. Draw controlled by Fort Wayne, dumped into the corner. Davis tries to clear. He's bumped by Rodriguez. That's going to go the length of the rink, and it's not an icing because it just didn't get quite to the goal line. So how can Fort Wayne break back into the scoring column and tie this game? Siebenhaler rings it around behind the net. That pass is a little too sharp, and it's kept in the zone. Now Fisher circles. He's going to try to turn on the Jets and start the rush himself. Pokes it ahead to Huffman. Now here comes Siebenhaler. He'll just rip it in behind the net. But a swarm of blue jerseys get to the puck first. Now dumped back behind the zone. Taylor spins it around. Intercepted by Fisher. Back to the point. And all of a sudden, look out. Here comes Garrick Smith. Smith has some room. He looks, shoots. Big blocker save that time by Hayward, as he didn't give any ground to the short side. Now another shot snapped from the point that time by Taylor. Battle behind the net. Comes back to the point. Dreyer with a big drive. So Fort Wayne again having a little difficulty clearing the zone. Now here come the Spacemen. Now Behrens has his shot blocked. Comes back to the point. Nobody home for Fort Wayne. Racing back the other way is Anders Floric. Right near the Fort Wayne bench, there's a big log jam. Behrens trying to come away with the puck. Deflected back, and Beeman works it ahead. That's just dumped in by Blake Sheridan. Hayward corrals it behind the net. Tries to spin it ahead that time to Caden Schwetz. But Metro has done a great job of really congesting the Fort Wayne zone and making it very difficult for the Spacemen to break out the puck. Now here's Berard. Cross-ice pass that time intercepted by Hack, and he'll just dump it right back in the zone. Race is on, and Floric tries to dump it back with speed. Berard tries to get out. There's a goal. A turnover in the Fort Wayne zone. The puck was just dumped on net, and it trickled through Hayward. And now it's a 3-1 lead for Metro.
Hayward wishes he has that one back.
Yep.
That one just finds an open lane. It looks like it's Tagmeyer, too.
Well, that would be quite the homecoming because Dylan Tegmeyer, the Fort Wayne product,
Tagmeyer unassisted.
Yep. Well, it was a tough turnover for the Spacemen in their own zone. Tegmeyer pounced on it and managed to flip it on goal. And it just skittered between the legs that time of Hayward. That could be a big, big play in this game. Now with 16 minutes left, it is a 3-1 Metro lead. Tegmeyer unassisted at 3:46. Still a lot of time, though, as Buck gets it ahead to Perry. Perry has the Fort Wayne goal. He has an angle, and it looked like he was hauled down. He didn't get much on that shot. And McNeil has his pass intercepted. Now McDougal ahead to Zitelli, who's had a big night with a pair of assists. Well, the break that Fort Wayne was so desperately looking for went the way of Metro, as that clearing pass wound up on goal. Eberle, playing like a defenseman, gets it ahead. Now Islenian penetrates the zone. That's wrapped behind the net by Hayes. Clock winds down to 15 minutes to play. Now Fort Wayne needs to find some instant offense here. You always wanted that first goal about 5 minutes in. We're 5 minutes into the third, and that first goal went to Metro. Back to the point. Taylor just dumps it in. It comes right in front. Quickly on it, though, are the Spacemen.
Penalty coming up.
Yep, and that looked like a bad one, too. It looks like there's an injured Spaceman as he got clipped. Now Metro looking for the touch-up. It's still a delayed penalty. See if Fort Wayne can do something. Fisher was trying for the one-timer. They still have it. Now he tries to poke it to Daner. Schiebel bumped by Hayes, and now they're going to touch the puck, and it will be the penalty. Looked like it might be a kneeing call. We'll have to see. Comes at the 5:34 mark.
It's like Taylor.
John Taylor. Yep, it is kneeing. So Taylor goes off at 5:34 for kneeing. It's a good thing that didn't result in a serious injury. Now Fort Wayne goes on the power play. Behrens, Fisher, Huffman. Hayes wins the draw, but Huffman jumping into the play, trying to gain control of the puck. Kept in at the point. And that's intercepted. Back the other way they come as Cole Phillips jumped into the play. Shorthanded, he weaves, gets a shot that almost wrong foots Hayward.
Easy defensive read for Phillips.
Yep.
Probably saw that coming a mile away.
Now LaPointe, again, has it intercepted. Now Hoon, he with the pair of goals, wraps it high off the glass near the scorer's table, and that goes behind the Fort Wayne net. Still a 1:20 to go on the Spacemen power play. 13:44 to go in the hockey game, and Fort Wayne really needs to mark on this power play. Dumped in behind the net. The chase is on. Fisher in there. Huffman steps into his man. And again, a lot of these scrums have been going on all night. Huffman is almost pulled down. It's kept in at the point. There's a shot. Ends up banking off the Metro player, Beeman. Fisher keeps it alive. Fisher tries to weave. Now gets it over. Comes back to Fisher. Fisher taking a look. There was a player that was knocked down right in front. Beeman and Huffman are really having a joust. And right now, Mitch Perry, the referee, letting them play on. Still 30 seconds left in the power play. Right in front. Can anybody get a stick on it? Eberle tries to jump on it. Hoffman is actually massaging Eberle a little bit. Now Huffman is stepping into anything he can in a blue jersey. They're able to clear the zone, and we are down to 18 seconds left in the power play. One last rush for the Spacemen. Racing in that time with speed is Siebenhaller. Bumped off the play by Eslanian. Siebenhaller still comes away with it. You can tell that he can use that big body. There's a drive that just caroms again, and it goes right by the side of the net. Eberle, I don't believe, saw it, but it redirected. And that will do it for the power play, and we are now winding down to 12:16 to go. Long pass ahead for Berard. He's going to have a break. He comes in, quick shot over the top of the net as he had a step. That time Schiebel gets shoved from behind. Coming away with it is Berard. And the physicality, as you would expect, is stepping up here in the third period. And you know Fort Wayne will be playing with a little more desperation. Now Daner loses an edge. Robbins trying to dig it out of there. But coming away with it is Metro. Back to the point. Beeman at the half wall, comes cross ice that time. Sheridan works his way into the corner. Siebenhaller almost lost an edge. They dig along the boards, and the one thing this hurts Fort Wayne is it's taking precious seconds off the clock with all the scrums along the walls. That pass intercepted by Blake Sheridan. Now spinning in his own zone as Rodriguez comes across. It's banked off the boards, but too strong, and now Beeman has it. Fort Wayne intercepts. Perry tries to get it to his brother, Devin. Heavy hit into the boards that time. But who can come away with the puck? Well, McNeil had it. Can they keep it in the zone? McNeil tries to dump a little backhand pass, but he didn't get much on it. There'll be a penalty coming up, and it'll be against Fort Wayne. It's a delayed penalty to boot. And the puck is touched, and now a little extracurricular afterwards. But this is not what Fort Wayne was looking for. And it looks like it's going to be a rough.
We talked about them not taking a lot of penalties. It was a low penalty affair, but it seems like the third period's where it's been kicking up.
Well, it'll be McNeil going off for roughing at the 9:19 mark. So you have Metro with a 2-goal lead going on the power play, and there is only 10:41 left in the match.
This is where those minor infractions, even though they're only 2 minutes, can really start hurting you.
Well, Zatelli wins the draw. Now here they go to work on the power play. There's a shot that is deflected. Parker Wolders has his shot go up into the rafters, and we'll do it again. Well, the Spacemen have to find a way, first of all, to thwart this power play. This is where you're craving one of those short-handed efforts. Back to the point it goes, and Wolders comes cross ice. Big shot that time by Islanian, and that goes high over the glass. Now Buck digging for it, but Metro comes away, and good job by Islanian to keep it into the point. Cross ice pass, and that goes nowhere. So Jake Islanian will have to go back and circle with the puck for Metro. Big pressure applied by Schiebel, but the puck will go into the Fort Wayne zone. The race is on between Daner and Patrick Hayes. Now, Fort Wayne is really trying to pick things up. In fact, you wouldn't even know we were a minute into a Metro power play because they have really chased the puck. Fresh troops on the ice for Metro. Beeman leads the breakout. Under a minute to go in the power play. Now Beeman loses the handle, has to circle, and backhands it back. Now spinning in his own end is Braden Taylor, so Metro taking a lot of time off the power play clock as well. That's just flipped in that time by Beeman. The race is on. Taylor going after it. He's joined by a couple of Spacemen. Comes back to the point, though, to Beeman. Beeman takes the return pass. That goes off the glass, and Fort Wayne will be able to clear. So not much of a power play this time by Metro, as we are down to 20 seconds left in the Metro man advantage. Well, trying to weave through some defenders is Mitch Fortin, but Fort Wayne able to clear back to center. Now with speed, it's Derek Dreyer. He's bumped off the play, and now just 2 seconds left in the power play, and back on the ice goes McNeil. So step one, Fort Wayne manages to choke off the power play effort. Puck almost gets loose in front, and Fortin almost had an opportunity. There's a centering pass. That drive is deflected into the corner. Hustling for it, though, is Taylor. Puck comes right through the goal mouth. That goes off the blocker. There are all sorts of shots being poured on the net as McDougall and Taylor applying an awful lot of pressure, but that time Hayward able to keep the puck out of the net. But time now becoming a factor, Brandon. 8:16 to go, and the Spacemen trail it by 2, 3-1.
Yeah, in this case, Metro is kind of just running the time down because they know the Spacemen aren't getting a lot of scoring opportunities, and the chances they are to get it thrown in net is pretty much easy saves for Eberle.
Well, Fort Wayne chips it out. A possible 2-on-1 developing. Here come the Spacemen. Can they get the pass across?
Good defensive play,
Robbins was hoping to get that pass, but a good job by the Metro defense.
Penalty.
And we will have a penalty. And now it looks like there's going to be a skirmish going on right down below us.
Fists are being thrown.
Yeah, this is a full-scale fight. So penalty time will be handed out at the 12-minute mark. So we'll have to sort this out. It looks like it was steal for Fort Wayne being shown the door. Well, we'll have to sort this penalty time out. It all is going to come at the 12-minute mark. Spacemen trailing 3-1, and it had been a very, very cleanly played game right up until this point. So the conversation continues with referee Mitch Perry. Well, the penalties that were handed out, to the best of our knowledge, is Taylor got 2 minutes for hooking and 5 for fighting.
Steele for Fort Wayne gets the fighting and game
Steele.
misconduct.
So Detroit does, or I should say Metro, puts Fort Wayne on the power play.
It did sound like Taylor for Metro as well. Got the fight.
And they all come at the 12-minute mark. So Fort Wayne, a much-needed power play, and you have to figure they virtually half the mark. And puck goes off a Huffman stick and back into the Fort Wayne zone. So Steele, 5 for fighting. Taylor, hooking and a fight. And they both have been excused for the night. This all coming at the 12-minute mark. And we have 7.5 minutes left in regulation. And Buck has it slither off of his stick. Fort Wayne just trying to get the power play set up. At that time, Metro does a good job of clearing at the length of the rink. Hayward will leave as Fisher goes back to regroup for the Spacemen. 1:14 to go in the man advantage. 7:12 to go in the hockey game. Fisher will just dump it in and chase it himself as he tries to slide by Aslanian, who just fouled the play. Now, little toe drag and a shot. They couldn't tip it away. In fact, that was deflected away by Walters. Now kept in by LaPointe, and his pass is poked away that time by Taylor. And look out, it's a breakaway by Aslanian. He comes in, little deke, the shot. Big save that time by Hayward. What a great job, but there's going to be a penalty coming up, and it's going to be a delayed penalty on Metro. Now here comes Huffman, and he just puts it right on the stick of Beeman. I'm pretty sure he did that on purpose because they want the two-man advantage.
You can hear Coach Strock in the background on the boom mic kind of yelling at him to let them touch the puck.
So a tripping, and it'll go against McDougal. And that comes at 13:29.
Tripping.
Well, if Fort Wayne's going to get back into the game, now is going to be the time. 6:31 left in the hockey game.
Timeout by the Spacemen.
Yep. So Kaylee Schrock is going to discuss things with his troops. They will have 31 seconds of 5-on-3 advantage. And you have to, you know, they always say, Brandon, one at a time. So you have to get a first one. And let's just say they don't get one within the two-man advantage. They have to get one at least somehow, some way during this power play.
Yeah, they definitely need to use this opportunity really to get one on the board, or this could very well be a Metro win. Because at that point, I think a 5-on-3 penalty kill with about 6:31 remaining on the clock. If Metro kills off both of these penalties, then I'm pretty sure they'll have the momentum on their side to kind of ride this out.
Well, and again, I guess at this point, while the timeout is going on, we can say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody, because after this game, the next home game for the Spacemen will be January 17th. They go on another 7-game road swing the rest of this month, and then January 4th, and then they finish up the season with 11 in a row at home, January 17th through February 23rd.
Looks like he's going to throw Fisher out there with LaPointe.
And Behrens.
Pretty much throwing all the big guns out there.
Yep. Off the draw. Behrens will chase it down. And you have to retain control of the puck with the 5-on-3, no question. There it goes. Fisher takes a look. The shot, that's blocked. Fisher looking for the one-timer. There is the one-timer. That's sticked aside that time by Eberle as Buck with a bullet. And look out, here comes Metro as it's cleared by Fortin. And that will take care of the first penalty. So now it's a 5-on-4 with 1:24 left in that man advantage. And Fisher goes offside, so it'll be a delayed offside. They touch up. Phillips can't clear, so Fort Wayne knows it's going to have to send 2 and 3 guys deep, trying to gain control of the puck. Time is winding down, though, with just 5:38 to go. And again, while they dig around in the corner, it just takes valuable seconds off the clock. Siebenhaler fakes the shot, comes across. LaPointe takes a look, and that pass is intercepted. He was looking for Behrens on the doorstep, but Phillips does a great job of clearing. 48 seconds left in the power play. That's an errant pass, so it's just shoveled back in by Walters. And now the clock really becoming a factor with 5:10 left in the third. The race is on, and that was an errant pass by the Spacemen that results in an icing. So 31 seconds left in the power play, 5:02 left in the third, and time is clearly becoming a factor.
Metro doing a very good job blocking the shooting lanes, blocking the passing lanes, letting the time just run down.
Well, a Fort Wayne product, Dylan Tegmeyer, has the lone goal of this period, and that was after a Fort Wayne turnover. He was parked right near the net and managed to poke it past Hayward unassisted. That's what swelled the lead to 3-1. Well, one last rush on the power play, but Schiebel is bodied off the play that time by Wolders. Comes back to the point. Siebenhaler takes a look, wants to tee it up. Comes across. There's Berard. Berard spins away from his defender. Well, the penalty is up, so can Fort Wayne get a shot off before the Metro player comes back? And Siebenhaler fans on the dump in, and it's swarmed by a sea of blue jerseys. And now you have to wonder how long it will be, probably around that 2-minute mark or so, before head coach Kayleigh Schrock might think of pulling Hayward to try to make something happen. Dumped into the Fort Wayne zone by Benoit. Now here come the Spacemen. Berard briefly forgets the puck. That's dumped in. Shoveled out by Derek Dreyer.
Oh, bad line change by the Spacemen.
Yep.
Bad line change.
And they catch a break with the offside by Metro. Yeah, Hayward had to come way out of his net to play the puck, because all of a sudden he was all by himself. And he had a whole bunch of blue descending upon him.
Gotta give credit to Metro, though, real quick. They're doing a very good job shutting down that Fisher-Behrens combination.
Yep. And that's just dumped back into the Fort Wayne zone that time by Dreyer. Bangs it off the boards again. Huffman was shoved down from behind, and it will be a delayed penalty on Metro. And losing an edge that time was Daner, but yet another penalty will be called against Metro.
One's got to wonder if this is where Coach Schrock will pull Hayward for the 6-on-4 power play.
This comes at the 16:30 mark. I believe this will be a cross check.
Number 22 for Metro.
Well, they put 43 up on the board, Benoit. And I believe it was a cross check. But immediately Metro clears the zone. So this is a must power play for the Spacemen, because there is only 3 minutes and 14 seconds left. Dumped into the corner that time by Buck. But a loose puck, and look at this. You're going to have a 2, possibly a 3-on-1. Leading the charge is Beeman. Beeman fakes, tries to chip it across. Good job that time by Buck to slide across and get a little bit of a chip on that, and then it was just shoved aside that time by Hayward. But again, that takes valuable time off the clock. Here comes Fisher. Fisher takes a look, little toe drag, the shot, score! What a play by Fisher. You knew sooner or later he was going to find a way. So the league's leading scorer adds to it. Fisher with a wonderful snapshot. The power play goal, it comes at 17-14. And all of a sudden, a breath of life in the Spacemen. 2:46 still to go.
Yep. And now, yes, there's 2:46, but now this is a much easier hump.
Fisher the goal. LaPointe gets the assist. And boy, was that a much-needed goal by Fisher, his 31st of the season. And that puts his league-leading point total up to 57. Now Fort Wayne has to find a way to break it out, and they do. This is a potential 2-on-1. Racing in. Perry tries to center, but it's poked away that time by Islanian. Now Smith controls. Pinching up is Siebenhaller. Back into the Fort Wayne zone, Siebenhaller. And he just dusts that time, Islanian. And here comes Fort Wayne. Looking for another chance. Robbins, he fans on the shot as he looked like he was going to split the defense. Big hit into the corner. Schiebel will circle. Chased down by a pair of Jets. Intercepted. That time the shot goes way over the top, and then we're under 2 minutes to go. Now Perry, who has a goal, tries to fire it in front. It was a bouncing biscuit, but Schiebel couldn't quite gather it in. But now they are really stepping up the physicality and the pressure. When will Kaylee Schrock summon Hayward to come to the bench? That's just flipped in by Benoit. Metro going for a line change, as are the Spacemen. Final 1:30 to go. That's intercepted by McDougal. And he races in. And that time Hayward had to be ready. Now Fort Wayne has to find a breakout play so they can get Hayward out of the net. Cleared to neutral. Backing up this time is Nick Beeman. Dumped back behind the Fort Wayne net. 70 seconds left in the match. Well, Fort Wayne having a tough time getting control of the puck. McDougal fires it right in the glove, that time a Hayward. But we are 3 ticks ahead of 1 minute to go in the match. Well, just a great play by Fisher to really pump some life into this big crowd here at the Ice House, but Fort Wayne remains down a goal with 1 minute and 3 seconds to go. 1 minute to go in the hockey game for now. Well, Huffman has his pocket picked that time by McDougal. You have to figure if they can get the puck broken out, Hayward will be heading to the bench. At that time, Beeman just wraps it off the glass, and precious time is ticking away. Wrapped around the boards. Huffman pinched along the wall, and there is only 30 seconds to go. Hayward heads to the bench as Fisher tries to dump it in and chase it down, so they get the extra attacker on. Beeman can't clear. There's a shot that's caromed away. See if Schwetz can win the race with Taylor. He does. And Metro can't clear. Down to 14 seconds. Can Fort Wayne get any kind of a centering pass or an opportunity? Down to 10. It's just pinched along the wall in the corner. 6 seconds, 5 to go. Can they get one last pass? There's a shot. Oh, what a big save that time with 2 seconds to go. Amazing save by Eberle. As Fort Wayne did get that quality scoring chance, but Eberle right there to make the glove save.
The Spacemen get a good clean win. They might be able to just rip it off the draw of one last attempt.
Off the draw. Attempted shot, but it's blocked, and there will be the final buzzer. A tremendous hockey game here at the Parkview Sport One Ice House. But Fort Wayne returning home comes up just a little short as they fall to Metro. And it looked like Fisher was exchanging some words with Aslanian. Not sure we're going to have the traditional handshakes. So the final score, Metro comes in and defeats the Spacemen by the final score of 3-2. We'll take a break and wrap things up from the Ice House. You are watching Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.
The Acme Bar and Grill, where neighbors meet. A Fort Wayne tradition since 1941. We feature nightly dinner specials along with our iconic pizza, wings, and pork tenderloins, and barbecue in our family-friendly atmosphere with a retro flair. Additionally, we offer a full bar with 26 beers on tap from various Midwest breweries. We also have an area perfect for private events such as meetings, reunions, and banquets that holds up to 50 people. The Acme Bar and Grill, located in the heart of East State Village, where neighbors...
For every victory, for every highlight, for every team in the Summit Athletic Conference, we've got you covered. Like, follow, and subscribe for all the latest.
It's the comets. Comets falling from the sky. 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 Comets falling from the sky.
Developing athletes to be foundationally strong. Healthy and consistent training. Expert staff. Long-term athletic development. Parkview Sports Medicine Performance. Any athlete, any age.
Well, a disappointing crowd is filing out of the Parkview Sport 1 Ice House here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, as Metro comes in and defeats the Fort Wayne Spacemen by the final score of 3-2. That drops Fort Wayne's season record to 8 wins, 16 losses, and also 2 overtime losses. And for MJDP, they get themselves back to sea level at 10 wins, 10 losses. They also have suffered 2 overtime defeats. As we recap the third period, Fort Wayne knew it had to make something happen. They were trailing 2-1 entering the final 20 minutes. Brandon, as you said, they had to win the period to win the game, but it was an unfortunate turnover right in the Fort Wayne zone, right in front of the net, and the Fort Wayne product, Dylan Tegmeyer, was able just to get a stick on the puck, poke it toward the net, and it slithered through the pads of Michael Heward, and that made it a 3-1 hockey game, and it stayed that way till just over 2.5 minutes to play when the league's leading scorer, Jared Fisher, was able to snap a goal home, his 31st of the season. Kevin Lapointe on the assist. That was a power play goal coming at 17-14, but Fort Wayne could not mount any further pressure, and they come up in the short end of a 3-2 score. A little more penalty action in the third period. Metro's John Taylor, a kneeing penalty at 5:34. And then you also had a penalty called to Fort Wayne's Brandon McNeil. That came at the 9:19 mark. And then a skirmish broke out because there initially was going to be a hooking penalty called on Taylor. But then Taylor and Steele got hooked up in a fight at the 12-minute mark. They were both excused for the rest of the evening. And then a couple of penalties on Metro. Later in the game, McDougall went off for a trip at 13:29. Benoit for a cross-check at 16:30. But only one power play goal in the game, and that was the power play goal by Jared Fisher with 2:46 to go in the game. That did draw it to 3-2, but Fort Wayne just could not get that equalizer. A lot of that was because of the goaltender, Christopher Eberle, because Fort Wayne outshot Metro in every period of the game. 16-9 in the first, 15-14 in the second, 13-11 in the third, so they outshoot Metro for the game 44-34, but they come up in the short end of a 3-2 loss.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the goaltender Eberle coming up big, and we have replay here, which was pretty much the game-saving play, as this was pretty much the last save with about 2 seconds left on the clock. You see Spacemen trying to get the equalizer. They're along the far corner. They're working their way to clear it out, time ticking down, and then they finally work it free, work it behind the net. A good pass out to Buck right about the hash marks, and then it was Eberle with the glove, preserving the 3-2 lead for Metro, which ended up being the final.
Well, you have to give both teams credit for a great hockey game, and again, goaltending was kind of the rule of the day. Michael Hayward probably deserved a better fate, and as you pointed out, that one goal that Dylan Tegmeyer scored, that was an absolute toughie because it was one of those things. You have to control the puck in your own end. Fort Wayne didn't. They lost it, and just in a flash, Tegmeyer, right place, right time. Didn't get a lot of stick on it, but just enough to throw it on net, and it just managed to slither between the pads of Heward, and that resulted in a big, big goal. So that, again, is a 3-2 victory for Metro over the Fort Wayne Spacemen. And again, we were somewhat joking tongue-in-cheek, but one of the things is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, because today is December 7th. The Spacemen do not return to home ice until January 17th. They hit the road for another mega road trip. Next weekend, they're at Motor City for 2 games. Then December 19th through the 22nd in Chicago. And Chicago has been the class of the division so far. And then their final road game will be just after the first of the year. January 4th, they visit Midwest. The good news is they finish out the season with a flourish. January and February spent at home. The 17th through the 19th, Decatur comes to town. 24th and 25th, it'll be Columbus. Then as the calendar flips to February, the Fighting Irish come here February 8 and 9. Midwest will come in February 15 and 16. Metro returns on Friday, February 21st, and the season wraps up on Sunday, February 23rd with a game against Midwest. So, Brandon, your final thoughts? I thought Fort Wayne played well, just couldn't get that victory.
Yeah, they played a really good game. It was a good back-and-forth game for quite some time. Good chances, both teams back and forth. Very low penalty game until about the third period, which, is, from what I can tell, it seems to be the common theme when penalties start to arise is in the third period. And it was pretty much, like as I said, good back-and-forth game. Metro comes on top. The hometown hero, so to speak, for Metro, Dylan Tagmeyer, former Homestead Spartan, gets the game-winning goal. And the comeback by Fisher just came up short. So not the best way to go into another 7-game road trip, but you can start to take away the good things from this. It wasn't a blowout. You kept it close the whole time, and when you were facing adversity with the being down by 2, you brought it back, and you had a really good chance, but unfortunately, as I said, Eberle making the big save with 2 seconds left, so even though it's a loss, there's some good things you can take away from this.
Well, and one thing we should point out, we did at the top of the broadcast, there were some comings and goings. So Fort Wayne adding a couple of new players. Cole Rodriguez did play tonight. And, you also have Salkel joining the team. He did not dress tonight. This was the 10th game for Siebenhaller, who I thought played very, very well. You can see a lot of his big brother in him. So probably still a little bit of work in progress to get this lineup a little more set. And who knows, by the time they return on January 17th, you may have a couple of more additions or subtractions, so we will see. So again, a very happy holidays to everybody. Have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year. We will see you back here at the Sport One Parkview Ice House on Friday, January 17th. It'll be the first of 3 games when Decatur comes to town to face the Spacemen. Once again, the final score tonight, the Metro Jets 3 and the Fort Wayne Spacemen 2. You've been watching Spacemen Hockey on the Spacemen Broadcast Network.